everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl BondyBlue and I am back, girl. Listen, hold up, yes, I'm unmuted. Okay, what's going on, girl? Y'all can hear me, y'all can see me clearly. What's going on? Happy Monday, everybody. I hope y'all are having a good day. Okay, we're going to start off today's live with Love and Marriage DC. But before we get into Love and Marriage DC, did you guys have a chance to check out the Players Club? Because I did do my Now That We're Grown Players Club. Okay, the Players Club. It was good. It was a good conversation. I was here for it. Okay, so you guys make sure you check that out. You know, if you ain't got nothing so later on, girl, check it out. Okay. Also, don't forget to check out my podcast, the Now That We're Grown podcast, featuring real people that I've known for a long time, discussing life now that we're grown. Okay. Come on. Yes, the mic is on. All right, y'all. So, girl, let me go ahead and mute. Let me minimize some of the stuff that I had going on here because I had to do a little research, girl. Before I came up here because love and marriage. Let's start there. Okay, we're starting with love and marriage. Okay, all right. So, why are we here? Why are we here? That's how I want to start, and that's what I titled it. Why are we here? Because Love and Marriage DC is not making a lot of sense right now. And Carlos is somewhere crying on a podcast about Real Housewives of Potomac. And I would really like for him to just let us know, sir, what is going on with your shows? What's going on? What's going on with the shows? Because this don't make sense. What's going on over here? Why are we here? I feel like constantly forcing interactions amongst people that clearly do not see it for each other. I just, like you have the same issues. Like your shit just doesn't even make sense. And yet you have so much energy for the Bravo shows while producing your own set of shows. It's just, yeah. But you know what? Let's get into the ish not making sense. And me wondering, why are we here? Okay? Why? Okay? Sherelle and Arena are arguing at Quick's street naming ceremony. Don't forget they named Shady Side Highway, Shady Side Road, okay, whatever shady streets. Okay, they should have left it as that. But I love the fact that they left the Shady Side sign up there and Quicksilver Way is right up under it, because if there's anybody that's shady on Shady Side Road, girl, it's Quick. So Quick being so upset that this argument happened at his event, I was like, it's befitting. It's befitting. It's shady shit about a shady word going down on Shady Side. Okay? A street being renamed after a shady little guy. I feel like it all worked out. But still, why is Sherelle arguing with Arena? Why did Arena say, but shady is the word that describes your husband? Okay, I was just like, Arena, why are you acting like you wanted some physical altercation with this lady? And I'm going to tell you what it is. Arena is given the I have never had to fight because my husband is a police detective vibe. Okay? And it's the same thing as you like having a drug dealer for an old man. You know, people be scared of them. They going people for you so you don't never have to do anything. You can just call them like, hey, I need you to go and pull rank. I need you to go and handle my lightweight. And they will go and handle your lightweight. So you get accustomed to not really having fear about a big bitch tackling you over the word shady, because ultimately you know that y'all still have y'all connections down there to the police department, regardless of what connections Sherelle thinks she got in the hood. Okay, because we know that, that's what they say, word on the curb. But I'm gonna go ahead and let that go. Okay. Ashley says Arena should have kept her ass out of it. Arena says Sherelle friends don't even like her. I don't care who don't like me. Girl, it's obvious. Okay, it's obvious, Sherelle. I don't think that you should care who likes you, but you should care if you are likable. If you gonna come on a reality show, you need to care if you like a bull. Okay, somebody need to like you. Okay, and right now I'm just kind of like, while we do appreciate somebody getting in Arena's ass, we still will prefer for it to make sense. Because see, from my viewpoint, you mad at Arena for reiterating what Joy said. So if you want to be upset with anyone, you should be upset with Joy, because Joy said it. But I feel like you shouldn't be upset at all, because it has nothing to do with you. This is about a business situation. It really doesn't matter that you don't like the fact that someone called your husband shady. I'm sure there are so many people that you don't even know about that have had negative things to say about Black, just based on the way that he moved during this episode. Okay? Black says Arena is creating this narrative of him being unprofessional. I'm like, did Arena create the narrative, or did she just repeat said narrative? Because Joy has been giving y'all the stank eye and not trying to be on the same set with y'all since the beginning of the season started. So why are we acting like Arena is the only one bringing attention to the fact that Joy don't like Black and byproduct does not like Sherelle? This whole conversation started because Joy blocked Sherelle because she blocked Black, and she gonna block anybody got anything to do with Black. On top of the fact that we're to understand Joy was friends with Black's previous old lady, and then he started cheating on the previous old lady with Sherelle. I feel like, Joy, that ain't got nothing to do with you. I understand feeling away on behalf of your homegirl, but this amount of dislike for somebody, we need to go talk to somebody when we putting this much energy and this much stank on some old shit. Okay, you not the one that got cheated on, so you really shouldn't be that upset about it. I understand that was your friend, girl. And when it came to the business situation, that's the only space in which you really had a right to be upset. And now you backpedaling and pussy popping, and we acting like it's Arena that's backpedaling and pussy popping. I was just like, Arena was made to understand that when she walked up and said shady is the word that describes your husband, that it sounded like it was coming from her. So when they later on calm down and come back for the apology, because Sherelle was like, you was doing too much. And Ashley jumps in between them. And Arena was like, listen, I apologize. I wasn't trying to say he was shady. I don't even know your husband. I actually kind of like him. Arena, shut up. Arena, don't act like you like that man. You don't even know that man, as you said. There's no reason to pretend like you like him. It was a misunderstanding. They really should be upset at Joy, because, you know, if anybody said anything, it was Joy. But instead, we want to be upset with Arena because she messy. Girl, I guess. Sherelle says, why you backpedaling so quick? I'm like, did you want the apology or not? Oh, humbuggish ass. What did you want? What did you want? If for her to come up to you and apologize for getting involved and saying the wrong word, whatever the situation was, you got your apology by the end of this scene. So I need to understand why in a confessional, you like, why you backpedaling so quick? Girl, what you wanted? What you wanted to rumble in the parking lot? Did you want to roll around on the gravel? Like, what did you want to take place in order for y'all to get to this moment? How quickly? Okay, I'm sorry. How slowly was she supposed to, go about this whole let me apologize shit? I feel like Sherelle is just trying to have a moment by any means necessary. We gonna have beef with whoever we can have beef with, because we trying to have a moment. Okay. So from this conversation, everybody decides that Joy, Sherelle, and Black are really the ones that need to talk. Really, it's Black and Joy that needs to talk. And honestly, I don't think they need to talk. I think that everything Joy said about Black is probably true. I think he probably is all of those adjectives that were used to describe him, because when he was later on explaining the situation, it sounded exactly like what Joy was saying. He just was doing a lot of hemming and hawing so he wouldn't make himself sound as fucked up as he was, okay? Adding a lot of color and story and shit onto it instead of the facts. But the facts that were presented were the same ones that Joy gave. So I'm just starting to believe that Joy's opinion of Black is probably accurate, and there's no need to have a conversation about it. You've learned who he is. Now you can act accordingly. Now you having all of this animosity as to block his old lady, even though y'all all on the show together, it seems like a lot of energy. If you don't fuck with him, you just don't fuck with him. Why we gotta have conversations about it? Why we gotta be rolling our eyes? Why we gotta be stank? Joy is stank, and I understand her not wanting to be fake, but you could not be fake and not be stank. And I feel like she be stank. When they spoke after this conversation, hey, like, why did you, it couldn't be, how you doing? All right. Did you saw the difference? I just did it. Did y'all see the difference? She went, hey, how you doing? It could have been, hey, how you doing? All right. See the difference? You could feel the difference, okay? Yeah, Joy. You want it to be known that you don't like that lady because of that man, okay? Quick and Ashley talk after he listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I wasn't even really paying attention to this conversation. The main thing I got from it was that Quick wants to intervene. Maybe there's a conversation that the men can have amongst themselves that will help the women get along, because what happened at his, shady side street sign situation, that was too much. And I just kind of feel like, Quick, there is nothing you can do. This is a reality show, first of all, and these women are going to have issues. So they're going to get into it. And never do we really need any of the men to come in on behalf of the women's arguments. Let the women argue amongst themselves. If you men get into it and y'all want to argue amongst yourselves, then fine, okay? But ultimately, I don't feel like we need to have a moment where Quick thinks he needs to, have this, I don't think y'all are handling the situation properly conversations. He does this superior thing where he comments on situations with the group as if he would have handled it so much better. And I just kind of feel like, would you have though? Would you have though? I don't think so. Okay. Anyway, the Tylers have a party for Arena's mom. Hold up. The Tylers have a little birthday party for Arena's mom, and everybody is dressed in their cowboy and cowgirl gear. It's super cute, okay? Everybody's having a good time. We have food, we have drinks, we have the Tylers getting along, for God's sakes, okay? Lil Jamie's there. There's no issues. It's a good time, all right? Then we have to have a conversation, Pressure and Joy, about when she gonna have a baby, when you gonna get married. It's exhausting. And I understand, they got engaged. This is probably why they shouldn't have gotten engaged at the news station. They shouldn't have gotten engaged on television, because now everybody is going to be questioning and asking, when's the big wedding coming? When obviously, Joy doesn't know if she wants that. Arena says that Jamie blames Mama T, which is Arena's mom, for why they don't have a lot of sex, because she's in the room down the hallway. I said, are we talking about this again with y'all? Are we talking about y'all not having sex again? At the end of last season, they said they was hunching again. So why are we now? Listen, if y'all just don't see it for each other in that manner anymore, that's fine. We don't have to keep having conversations about it. But every time you turn around, Arena is trying to throw it out there publicly, whatever her issue is with Jamie. Girl, if you want the dick, talk to the dick about it. Why are you talking to your mama and the homegirls about it? There's no way my mom would be living in my household for this amount of time, cooking people breakfast every damn morning, and I'm tiptoeing to have sex in my grown ass house. Girl, that don't make no sense. To me, it just feels like foolishness. It feels like either y'all not having sex because y'all just don't feel like it, and y'all are trying to make a conversation out of it, or y'all are hunching and y'all are lying about it so that y'all can have a conversation about it because y'all ain't got nothing else going on. Now that y'all have gone to therapy and resolved the situation with Lil Jamie, so y'all say, okay? Because to me, that's an ongoing battle. But anyway, child, the mama felt the way. So the mama went over to Jamie and said, don't put it on her. I want y'all to make sure y'all get it in tonight, if that's what it is. And I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that can be a tad bit uncomfortable. But Jamie said that it's Arena. He was like, don't blame Mama T. It's on you. And I was just kind of like, Jamie, but it seems as if when Arena asked you why y'all aren't having sex, you mentioned the mama. Is it true or is it not? It sounds like foolishness that y'all were just running y'all mouths about to have something to say during this scene. Arena and Ashley enjoy sit down amongst themselves, separate from everyone else, to have a conversation, because Arena wants to know if she and Ashley are good, if Quick is okay after what happened at his shady side, science situation. And Ashley says he understands, it's fine. But ultimately, Arena needs to learn how to walk away. And I was just like, really, Ashley? Really? This is you doing the same thing that Quick does. She needs to learn how to walk away? Okay. Arena feels like she's in the middle of the situation with, Sherelle and Black and Joy. And I'm just like, well, no, Arena. Just like Joy said, you don't have to do anything. This has nothing to do with you. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to be in the middle of anything. You want to be in the middle of it because that's probably a way for you to keep from having to talk about the nothing that's going on with you and Jamie. Everything's a deflection. Ashley invites Winter out. Once again, why are we here? Why? Why is this happening? Okay. Ashley doesn't understand why Winter thought she was so important that Ashley would be talking about her. And Winter explains, well, you were talking about me very loudly, which is why I walked up to you to ask you what the issue was. Ashley says, Sherelle is trying to force me to have a conversation with you, and I'm saying I don't want to talk to you, and I'm telling her why. Okay, well, if you're going to stand outside in earshot of the person you're talking shit about, Ashley, to be prepared for them to walk up to you. And then you admit that you were talking about her, so why are you starting off this conversation acting as if she's so stupid for thinking she was important enough for you to discuss, when in fact she must be, because that's exactly what you were doing when she walked up to you. Ashley, make it make sense, because right now you're not making sense, okay? Ashley says, listen, we're never going to shake hands, hug, run off into the sunset together. And I'm like, then why, once again, why are we here? Why are we here if you're not trying to move past anything? Did Winter really do something that bad to you? Like, is it really that bad? I don't think so. I feel like you started some shit with her, and then shit got messy amongst you guys. Y'all all said things that were negative about the other person, the other couple, whatever. At this point, if you can call her to come and have drinks, why the fuck can't you shake hands and run off into the sunset and at least get over this issue? Ashley, why would somebody want to sit down and talk to you when you have this attitude? Like, she just had a stank ass attitude, and you can tell that production must have been like, I understand that everybody thinks they're somebody, but the only reason anybody cares right now is because y'all are on this show. And if y'all don't figure out a way to make this ensemble cast work, there will be no show. That's probably what was told to them. So Ashley was probably forced into having this conversation, but apparently could not muster up the couth to have a civilized conversation with Winter without constantly throwing jabs at her, because that's what she was doing. And I don't understand how, Winter just sits there continuing to smile, because I would have just been like, if you're going to keep coming at me sideways every time you say something, there really is no point. There really is no point. If you can't relax your nasty ass attitude for the 10 minutes it can take us to have this conversation, there's no fucking point. Because apparently you can't stop your dislike for me even in order to get over it. Like, girl, what? Talking about, you showed up exactly the way I thought you would. You showed up so defensive, and I know what you're going to say. I'm defensive too, and maybe I am. Okay, so then why are you bringing that up? Why are you bringing it up? If you know you and Winter are both defensive because of you guys' past altercations, why are you talking to her like she's the only one that has an issue when you obviously have one as well? Oh, girl, I just cannot. Okay? Ashley decided that she wanted to bring everyone together because she's tired of the group shooting separately. Are you? Or are the producers tired of having boring ass 2-for-2 scenes with y'all? Okay? Winter asked who will all be at this sit down, and Ashley said, child, don't ask me who coming, okay? Listen, you just gonna come or y'all not gonna come, but don't ask me who gonna be there. I was like, why can she not ask you who's going to be there? Once again, who the fuck are you and why are we here? Ashley's attitude is just way too much for me. It's way, way too much for me. Okay? Because if I ask you who's all going to be there, why can't you say who you're going to invite? And the reason why you didn't want to say anything is because you didn't want the door to be open for Winter to point out that you're going to bring your security, Alicia. I'm sure she was asking because she didn't want to be in another situation when she felt like she was being ganged up on by you and all of your heavyset homegirls. Okay? Like you and all of your hip checking ass, thick ass homegirls that, seemingly like to walk up on people fast and shit. Cause I put Sherelle in the same box with Alicia and Ashley. I don't understand why it's being played as if Hey Erica, girl, I was just watching your premiere for Real Housewives of Potomac before I got up here. Hey girl, I feel like we just finished talking anyway. But yeah, so I just don't understand why we're here. I don't like Ashley's attitude. It's too much. Like, why you couldn't just tell a girl who was all gonna be there? Then we see Arena. We finally get to see what Arena does that has her too tired to have sex, as Jamie said. Because we know they do real estate together, but what else? Because everybody keeps talking about all of these businesses that Arena have, but where are they, girl? I have not seen them. Okay, well now we see that Arena is doing what Karen Huger did and coming out with a wig line by somebody that already creates wigs. Okay, her wig stylist, Kira Dior. I'm sure that's not Kira's real name. Can we just have a moment to pop out of Love and Marriage DC for me to ask, what is it about Black people changing their names to things that are the same names as like these really huge white fashion brands? I don't know why, but I feel like y'all still doing that. And that's no disrespect to Kira because, her wigs are cute. Do your thing, girl. I'm not hating on you. But I was like, why are we always like, how many fucking, Kior, Dior, you know what I'm saying? Gucci. Like, how many of y'all, because they're so Gucci on the other show. Like, how many of y'all, I was so glad she wanted to introduce us to Sophia because I was just like, girl, please just call yourself Sophia. I don't, like that's your name. Why do y'all have to go and adopt the last names of these white people that don't want y'all connected to none of their businesses? They only want your dollar. They do not want y'all to have the same last name. I'm just saying. So sometimes it comes off kind of like, why you, yeah, like why you trying to, like, what's that about? Like, are we still doing that? Okay. I just see a lot of girls do that. And I'm just kind of like, these people, like, they barely want to sell their products to you. And you want to, like, make their name your name and attach that name to your shit. Like, I'm going to leave it alone. But it often just kind of has me looking at them people like, that for you, it's a hood name. And for them, it's a brand. You know what I'm saying? A long-standing, well-respected white brand. Okay? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Italian, you know what I'm saying? Whatever Italian y'all ain't got the name from or whatever. I just... them people don't like y'all. And y'all just be like taking their names and adding them on to yours. And it's just kind of like, girl, you do recognize for you is giving bootleg down to the mall. In comparison to them, right? So why even put yourself in that boat? Why not just have your own? Girl, I don't know. I don't know how to feel, but geez, I had to get that off my chest. So while Arena was working on the details for her wig line, Joy comes in to see her, and y'all, I was really trying, like, not to. I wasn't trying, but it's so easy to stop paying attention on some of these shows on. You be watching, and then you just kind of drift away. And I just kind of drifted away for a second. But, bitch, when I rewound it and I came back, when I tell y'all, I said, bitch, you're not going to get me. You're not going to get me, bitch. You're not going to get me. And what that means is you ain't going to make me cry. But when Joy expressed the reason why she's apprehensive about getting married and having the big wedding is because her father will not be there to walk her down the aisle, I was just like, oh, Joy, why you did this to me? I don't feel like crying on this episode. But that really touched my heart because I know how that feel. I was grateful enough to have my parent walk me, my godfather, walk me down the aisle. And I got to dance with him for the father-daughter dance. And then I also danced with my big brother. So, I felt like, that would suffice. You know what I'm saying? My daddy would have been happy with either one of those choices. Okay. But I felt bad for her, but I also want her to do what she wants to do. And I feel like I don't know if it's really about that. Like, I know that hurts, but I don't know if her apprehension about marrying Clifton is really about because, oh, my father can't walk me down the aisle. You always knew that would be an option. You always knew you wanted to be married. You knew once your father passed away, he wouldn't walk you down the aisle. And now you're like apprehensive about the actual wedding because you don't want to have to go through the emotions of that. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know if I feel like it's really that. I'm just saying, I don't know if it's really that. Cause you grown as fuck. Like, you're not an 18-year-old getting married. You're not even a 20-something getting married. You're like a 40-year-old woman getting married. If y'all don't go to fucking Jamaica and have something real cute next to a tiki torch bar and just go ahead and dip it and do it up and down, girl, have a stage somewhere for you to get up and sing to some people and to your man and then go on about your honeymoon way. Like, I just feel like they making a bigger deal out of this than they really need to. Like, come on. But whatever. Everything on this show, I feel like, is low-key blown out of proportion for the sake of making it a moment, okay? So the men go and play baseball. We find out that Jamie used to play baseball back in the day, and he even tried to go, semi-pro, but wasn't selected, but he did play in college. I was like, well, all right, Jamie, listen, we love us a multifaceted, problematic-ass man, okay? And then Black gets there, and Clifton was like, wait, who is Black? Bruh, don't front on us. Okay, just like we know you percolate your curls every morning. Do not play with us right now. You know who Black is. There's been enough conversation in your household about motherfucking mambo sauce. Okay, so Black comes in and we jump right into it. Okay, he explains that the woman drummer he had, she quit. And then they had somebody else as the drummer for the tour. And she was helping him with business. At the time, he was playing manager, even though that's not his job. He didn't want to do that. He's a creative. But he wanted to bring her back if she can help with business. And I was just like, so why would you not just bring her back as a manager? Why not just bring her back as a manager versus bringing her back as a drummer / person helping you with business? That shit don't sound right. So within his response, I felt like there was some lies going on there. And Cliff was like, well, I heard it was deeper than that. And Black says, well, you've probably been lied to. Cliff said, he wanted to say, why would my woman lie to me? And what type of shit is that for you to even tell another man that his woman probably lied to him because she doesn't want to look stupid? What about this situation was supposed to make her look stupid? What about this situation was supposed to make her look stupid, Black? Because you sound stupid even saying that. You haven't even been saying much, but you and Sherelle have been making yourselves look real stupid. Okay? Because you just basically said everything the girl said. You don't want to talk about the personal part where you was fucking with Joy's friend and then started cheating on her with Sherelle. And I'm wondering what the situation was with the drummer lady. What was going on with her? Now that we found out that it wasn't a man, it was a woman. And you wanted to leverage yourself in the group in order to bring her back. What? That sounds like a bit much just for somebody to come and help you with business. And the way he explained it as if it wasn't a big deal, but you leveraged your own part in the band to keep her. So yeah, it does seem like, what the fuck is going on, Black? It seems all messy as far as I'm concerned. But either way, it's obvious that now Black and Joy need to have a conversation. And because a man and a woman in Black people land cannot sit down and have a conversation without their spouses being there. I'm being facetious when I say that. Y'all tire me out with y'all politicking like these niggas ain't hoes anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all, a man and a woman can't be around each other and all of this shit. How about everybody be expected to act like a responsible adult? And if you can't trust your partner, just say that. Thank you, Vonday, for the super chat. Hey, Bondi, I sent something to your P.O. box today. I saw it and thought of you. Love your content. Oh, Oh, thank you so much. I'll go check soon. Thank you. I appreciate you for it and for the super chat. Girl, thank you. So they all go to see Joy perform, which is so cool. Okay. I love to see like people in the element, and it was nice to see Joy performing and singing. I didn't understand nothing she was saying compared to the words that was on the screen. But after she got off stage, Arena wanted to have a conversation with her about the wedding and about Ashley's sit down and how, we going to the sit down. How you feel about the sit down, Joy? I don't really want to go to the sit down. But, Cliff won't be on this show, so I'ma go. And then Cliff interrupts with a drink right when we get on this conversation about the wedding. And Joy points out how Arena is always asking her about that. And I'm like, listen, it's obviously, hey, Windsor, it's obviously because Arena don't have nothing else going on, first of all. And second of all, women like Arena, they think a man is like, even though she have her businesses because she's a modern woman, but essentially her whole life is about her man. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Whenever a person chooses their spouse over themselves, their spouse is the most important thing to them, meaning a man is the most important thing to them. The fact that she's been able to have and hold on to this man for so long is Arena's real badge of honor. Yes, being a mother, but that's linked to that. The business part, as much as everybody talks about that in the comments and on the groups, and people from DC want to remind everybody all the businesses Arena got on this damn show, we've only seen one. And when we was there at the little house, because remember they did real estate, so they at the house have to do some construction at the house, and Jamie and Arena are there arguing, and he talked to her crazy the night before. So yet again, even when we're focusing on business, we had to focus on the relationship between Jamie and Arena. So I feel like the reason why is, like many women, she's going to be more, inclined to want to talk about a man than anything else. It's just, sadly, it's what it is. Okay. Ashley has all the women meet up. Girl, why? I hate, y'all, I don't want nobody to lose a check. But I swear, I do not want to, I don't want to deal with another cast of women that because you don't like somebody over a petty argument, you decide it is okay to completely discount them as a human the way they do on Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't want to go through that again. I barely want to review Real Housewives of Potomac if I had another option that got as many views as Real Housewives of Potomac right now. I probably wouldn't even give a fuck about reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac because they really work on my nerves. Okay, I was really bothered by a lot of the things I saw last night, and I've been rewatching the first season, so I have even more shit that I want to get off my chest about Real Housewives of Potomac. But I feel like if we continue to have these types of interactions between the women on this show, I see it going down the same path. You know what I'm saying? Like Ashley. First of all, when Joy gets there, you got to mention, oh my God, you're wearing tennis shoes. You know why that lady got on tennis shoes. She started off on Ready to Love, where they could be taping for 12 to 15 hours a day. A bitch is not about to be standing up here in those stilettos to be taping for all of them damn hours. So if I'm going to be here for a long time, I'm going to be comfortable, okay? Like Rudy Huxtable, okay? Like that. I'm sure that's what was going on in Joy's mind. So the fact that Ashley had to even bring attention to that because nobody would have saw her shoes if she had not said that, I was just like, girl, shut up. You could have wore some boots. But I was still like, girl, shut up. It doesn't even matter. Who the fuck looking at her feet? Anyway, so before Winter and Sherelle gets there, Ashley says, let's all take a picture. These are the most important people anyway. And I was just like, do you want to get along with the people on this show? Because I just don't understand how you think you're going to keep throwing slugs at somebody and they're going to want to be nice to you. And that's what I'm like, this is the thing that I'm about to get upset about. Because it's a pattern of you think you can say anything about your mouth to Winter. You think you can keep saying all this disrespectful little slick shit, and then whenever somebody responds to you, not all of a sudden they're the problem and they're doing too much. I'm like really over it because I feel like this is what you call antagonistic. Okay, this is what you call antagonizing a situation, Robin. when somebody is consistently saying shit, shady shit, being mean, and then whenever the person they're doing it to responds, you want to act like they're so wrong for their response to the bullshit. I don't want to go through this. Okay? Because, I mean, that's really what I was feeling in that situation. So when Winter and Sherelle show up, Arena doesn't understand, why is Winter here? Bitch, you 50 fucking years old. You ain't figured out yet a better way to talk to people than that? And I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason Arena felt like she could talk like that to Winter is because Ashley did it first. I know she got a problem with her, but Arena is a fucking follower. Okay, you can tell based on the relationship she got with Jamie that she's a follower. Okay, so I feel like all of the vibrato that she was given, why Winter here, rude as fuck, it was because Ashley had already talked shit about Winter before Winter got there. Like, what? Hey, Winter, tell it, Bondy. I was just like, okay, most important, my ass. Because let's keep it real. If it was just the, 1, 2, 3, it was just the 5 of them. No, 4. Because it was just Arena, Ashley, Joy, and Alicia at that moment. So if it was only the 4 of y'all, there would have been no scene talking about the most important people. You mean the people that wouldn't have had shit going on? And there was no guarantee she was going to stay long, just like I didn't know how long I was going to be there. Okay? Listen, it's absolutely giving bully ass bitch with Ashley. It is. Kevin, thank you for the super chat, love. A tiny part of me thinks Joy put sneakers on because she was sitting already. Oh, probably. But I want to know who you was going to fight, girl. Who you was going to get into a fight with. Because when Sherelle wanted to talk about the issue that you had, she was more in Arena's face than yours. So I'm just trying to understand. I guess that situation led her to believe that this conversation about to circle back around to me, so I need to be ready. But ultimately, I just kind of was like, this is just stupid. Once again, why are we here? But that's where, the situation basically stopped. When Arena asked, why is Winter here? I was just like, girl, what are you, a fucking Gretchen. Oh, that's another thing. I want to talk about. It gives me a good little good little segue to Real Housewives of Potomac. Y'all make sure y'all like the video. It's 565 of y'all in here, and I only see, it's 660 of y'all in here, and I only see 273 likes. I wonder what that's about. Well, I guess, y'all gonna light me up a little bit more if y'all want me to move on to Real Housewives of Potomac. Hold up, which one? That's not it. Where's the Potomac? Okay. Had to find it first, girl. Had to find it. Okay. Are y'all liking the video? I don't see y'all liking the videos. We at 725 and we still at 296 with the likes. So I guess we just gonna sit here. Nobody like them anymore. Thank you, DeQuasia. I think Ashley is starting to think twice about her friendship with Arena because Arena is starting to come off as a draining person to be around. She is draining. Probably emotionally pulls from people whenever she's around them. And that's because she lives in a space of not getting what she needs from her relationships and from herself. Like, Arena needs to go to therapy, for real. Like, she needs to go talk to somebody about them childhood issues she got that makes her feel like she needs to be perfect all of the time. And the cognitive dissonance, the lying to yourself, because that's a lot of it. A lot of it is not being real with yourself about what the situation really is. Okay? All right, I see 385. Let's see if we can get a 4. I want to get the 4, and then we'll start. So while y'all figure out if y'all gonna like the video or not, let me look something up right quick. Because I was looking online, and I was trying to find if Giselle has other family, like if she has siblings. I think Giselle has siblings. Yeah. Okay. Did y'all know that Giselle has a sister named Gretchen? I'm assuming. I didn't even know that. We ain't never seen none of Giselle's family besides her daddy and her daddy wife. Child, not me looking for Giselle and a picture of Vanessa Williams coming up. Girl, go to hell. But the reason why I was doing a little research on Giselle is because I remember the first season, because I've been rewatching the first season of Real Housewives of Potomac. And Giselle talked a lot about coming from an affluent African-American family and how her father was a civil rights activist. Curtis Graves. We've seen him on the show and everything. He don't like Jamal Bryant neither. Okay? But I was looking at it, I was just like, so your father was a civil rights activist, worked with Martin Luther King, marched, was a Texas state representative. So that makes me feel like you firmly understand racism, especially when I go back to the first season and Giselle is getting into arguments with Katie Ross about what's white and what's black. Okay? So if you can assume that something is a white person's thing that they would do, and this is a black person's thing that they would do, that means that you understand race relations rather well, right, Giselle and Robin? See, it feels to me that y'all know very well that y'all don't show up in this world like other black women, like the majority of black women, who, even if they are light, might look more like myself. Okay? Like identifiably black, yes, but light nonetheless. Now, you take Robin somewhere and people are going to think Robin is a white woman. You can look in Giselle and see that she's black for the most part. But you get around ignorant enough people, they might question what she is as well. Okay? So I believe that both of them growing up always felt the need to talk about how black they were and to make other people, when at all possible, make other people feel as if they're not black enough. Because she did that to Katie, season 1. Yes, she did it multiple times to Katie. She even said that she doesn't understand how Katie can just decide one day as a black woman to wake up and say that she's Jewish, which we all know that that's not what happened. Like, Katie actually, well, first of all, being Jewish is also a religion. And she got, indoctrinated into their Jewish religion for the man that she was trying to capture. Okay? At the time. I believe she did that for Andrew. At the time, season 1, Michael Darby grabbed Andrew's ass at a party, at Sharice's party. And so Giselle and Robin go up to Ashley and Katie and proceed to have a conversation with them about if that's some white man shit for white men to grab other men's asses. That's some white man shit. And this is when, at this point, Katie is tired of having these conversations because they have questioned Katie's blackness a few times as we've gotten to that point in the season. And they even told Katie that, it seems as if you're embarrassed to be black, even though Katie shows up as blacker than either Robin or Giselle, even though Katie has one Caucasian parent and neither one of Giselle or Robin have a Caucasian parent, but we found out that Robin has more Caucasian in her bloodline, period. Which showed back then, Robin's dumbass didn't even know how genetics worked. Okay, talking about I don't have a white family member directly. You don't have a identifiable white parent. Does not mean you don't have a white person in your family directly. Okay, like a cousin, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like, so, But just the fact that as I'm watching this first season, this is the conversations that they're having. They're having conversations about how white people do this, black people do this, how Katie isn't black enough, and how they are more black than Katie because they don't have a white parent. I disagree. Robin is just a high yellow black woman to most people. No. No, ma'am. Maybe down here in Louisiana. But in other places, if you bring Robin somewhere, Robin shows up like a white woman. Robin looks like a white woman on this cast. If y'all would have put Robin next to a whole bunch of white women, she would blend in with said white women. Okay? Yeah, and also she has like 51% white Caucasian blood from her ancestry. So regardless, the lady is more white. Okay? More than half Caucasian in her bloodline. It don't matter if one of the parents ain't black. Look like no damn light-skinned black lady. Stop lying. Okay? To you by yourself. Okay? Nah, I'm just playing. But she don't look that way to me. She don't look that way to me. And I know some light-skinned people when I see them now. As a person that has them in their family and that is from New Orleans, Louisiana, I know passing light-skinned women. And I probably could identify that Robin was black. But most people could not identify that Robin was black. Okay? So Robin and Giselle started out this show having to show and prove their blackness. All for us to get to season 7 and you raggedy old turn to Wendy and say, I don't like her, so I don't care about what happens to her. And I wanted to knock my motherfucking microphone over because as the daughter of a civil rights activist, how is this lost upon you that the only reason society is at all better because of the civil rights movement is because it was forced on white people to stop ignoring the brutality of black people simply because you don't like them? Yes, your fucking daddy fought so that would no longer be okay for white people to brutalize black people and simply decide to not give a fuck because they don't like the niggas. Your daddy spent most of his adult life fighting against that exact mindset, that exact thing. And you sit on this stage and say, I don't care that Mia threw alcohol in Wendy's face. I don't care that she hit Wendy with her purse. I don't care that we ostracized Wendy and made her out to seem as if she had done something wrong when she was assaulted. I don't care about any of that because I don't like her. And I'm just trying to understand, what did your family teach you, if anything at all, if that is your response? When I was listening to the shit on this reunion, I said, girl, and in that first season, she stood on her father's legacy of being a civil rights activist, and then got on this stage and told Nigerian American dark complected Wendy that I don't care about your pain because I don't like you. I just want for Robin and Giselle to recognize y'all are bad people. You're bad people. And nobody should feel safe around you. The same way I tell y'all about these unsafe niggas, that's two unsafe bitches to be around. Y'all heard what I said. If a man can't be around you without you accusing him of sexual assault, if you witness somebody's assault and simply turn your gobbled looking fucking neck in the opposite direction simply because you don't like that person, oh my God, your father failed you. And I don't even understand how. That man fought so that white people would show us more consideration than you are showing your own cast member, as if she's done something to you that is deserving of that type of energy. That's some evil shit to say, I don't care about what happened to Wendy because I don't like her. Do y'all not understand how, if that is your mentality, that means that everybody can always get hurt because everybody's always just going to turn their head and act like they don't care. That's a terrible society and a terrible world to live in, when someone can be harmed and everybody can turn their fucking head and do nothing. Didn't y'all bring up George Floyd and all of the other Black Lives Matter moments and shit? Then she went to a historically black college and pledged a historically black sorority. A colorist one, yes, but still a sorority nonetheless. And AKA people, please don't come in my comments telling me that's not the history of your organization. Please don't do that. Y'all may not all do that now, but we not gonna act like that wasn't always a part of the makeup of the AKAs versus the Deltas. Like, let's not even do that, okay? Because there's always somebody, that's not what I would think, girl. Spike Lee ain't make that shit up. So yeah, to see her sit on stage during this reunion show and literally say nothing during that piss poor example of a colorism conversation, where the only people that acted as if they understood what was really going on was Candace and Wendy and Karen. Mia is just a bandwagon ass bitch. She don't want to be on the wrong side of this specific story. So she's going to say, we have a lot of work to do. We'll get to it because I have notes and I want to get through my notes. But I had to get that shit off my chest first. And yes, let's not forget the fact that Wendy is a AKA as well. Yes, the first black sorority full of colorism. Okay? Child, that's how for the most part, a lot of black people couldn't afford to go to college or send their kids to college. So a lot of our first examples of, undergrad matriculation come from TV and movies. Did I say Lion Sisters? I thought I said sorority. They were from the same sorority. Thank you, Boss RN, for the super chat. You're speaking big facts. God bless your life. Thank you. Thank you. That shit bothered me so much. Watching her sit up there act as if she can't possibly understand what Candace was talking about, when you literally just sat your funky ass on that stage and showed us an example of colorism by the way y'all handle Wendy. Giselle says Chris made her feel uncomfortable. Giselle and Mia say that Candace blew the situation out of proportion. I say y'all can go to hell. You don't get to accuse somebody's husband of trying to become your sneaky link and try you in a hotel room by himself as if he's Michael Darby or some creepy ass handsy nigga, okay? Or maybe even like your ex-husband Jamal Bryant that liked to put his hands all up under the ladies' skirts down to the church pew. Okay? Ain't that what you said? He was a cheater, chicken eater? Oh, okay. Candace says, once again, you waited until the cameras were around to malign my husband. Mia says, why can't you admit your husband made your friend uncomfortable? Mia, please, shut the fuck up. Please. Candace says no. Because he didn't make her feel uncomfortable. She felt uncomfortable and tried to put the blame on him. But really, I feel like it was like a inkling. I feel like it was a small moment where she felt away. And if you want to talk about somebody blowing some shit out of proportion, I think that Giselle blew it out of proportion. But really, I feel like it stemmed from that moment. I think Giselle said something to Ashley, and Ashley, being the petty, evil little bitch that she is. I'm sorry. But Ashley, as much as you took this moment to take accountability and say you recognize your privilege as a biracial woman, I also want you to acknowledge the fact. I wish y'all would acknowledge. Y'all are not going to. But I wish y'all would acknowledge the fact that you decided to craft this plan. The more I sit with it, the more I feel like this was probably Giselle and Ashley all the way through. And everybody else is just piggybacking because they're weak. Mia, Robin, weak. Ashley had the text message. Giselle had the hotel room. Ashley gets her homegirl to say he did something. Then Mia, being thirsty to fit in with their clique, she's going to add some sauce onto it too and throw Eddie in there for good measure. because y'all already put Wendy and Candace in the same boat simply because they are both the darkest complected women on the cast. That's why you want them to be friends so much, even though it seems as if Robin and Candace were closer. This entire time, apparently Robin and Candace were closer, but we couldn't fucking tell because of the way Robin treats Candace. But we absolutely got to see the way everybody, including Mia, assumed that Wendy and Candace were BFFs and that they should be okay sleeping in a bed together. Why? Because they're the same skin tone? What other reason? Because they don't seem to be that cool in comparison to Candace and Robin. 2Ls, hey girl, thank you for the super chat. Giselle standing on her dad's legacy but still carrying her dog ex-husband last name, the same man who dragged her down to the church house. Girl, when they say not smart, that's who they talking about. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Not smart, Giselle. Fee, thank you for the super chat, love. They did that same bullshit on Basketball Wives, bringing up George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but acting dense as fuck when they project anti-blackness. Exactly. That's why this conversation is annoying. It's because it makes sense for it to happen. This is racist ass America. You think colorism is that far behind racism? It's not. What's aggravating is when we have these conversations and we gotta have all you ignorant motherfuckers that want to act like it's not happening. It's not colorism. That's not what it is. Okay, bitch, then please tell me why they don't care about Wendy's life, but they care about Karen's. And we know that Karen and Giselle do not like each other. Dion, thank you for the super chat. They can pretend like, oh, you know, we'll always go back to being friends, but they won't. They won't. And we know they won't. Kevin Preston, thank you so much for the super chat. Nothing but facts you're speaking. Big Lotto mom, Giselle needs to be off this show. Her and Robin need to go. We know it won't happen, but her and Robin need to go. Erica made a good point in her review because she says she feels as if this might be Robin's last season because of the way they threw all of these different compilations of Robin in throughout the reunion. And honestly, I can only hope. I ain't never in my life wanted somebody not to have a job. I want her to have a job, just not here. Be able to take care of you and your husband's tax debt and whatever issues may come from civil suits and things of this nature, because y'all like to turn y'all heads whenever somebody is in trouble. If it bothers you, right? Ain't that the same thing Juan did with the student? The student came to him and complained about being coerced into sex by another faculty member who Juan had hired, and Juan simply turned his head, recognized, but turned his head and said nothing. Whatever. Deshaun, thank you for the super chat. Ashley can't understand colorism because why is it okay for your children to have generational wealth and Candace can't benefit from it? But are they light and closer to white, Ashley? Ooh, damn good point, Deshaun. That's a good point on how Ashley is colorist. Okay? But I've been telling y'all since the very beginning, I said Ashley is jealous of Candace because she feels as if Candace should not have the life that she has in comparison to the life under the bridge that Sheila has provided for poor Ashley and her brother. Okay? She feels like because they're light, I got a white daddy. I should have had a better life. Candace comes from two brown-skinned black people, affluent and rich, all from working hard, going to school, getting degrees and shit. Stuff you can't take from them. Okay? Courtney, thank you for the super chat. It's abundantly clear that Giselle and Robin never got close to any dark-skinned women. They always try to oust them out, except for Charisse. And they had to kiss Charisse's ass because she was their way in. If you go back to that first season, you could see. Wasn't none of them that tight with Charisse like that, but Charisse was Queen Bee with a bad wig and all of the access. Okay? Child, she was in better shape back then, too. If she would have just had a better hair, like Giselle, homeboy Cal told her, if she just would have had a better wiggage, we would have been in better shape, girl. Anyway, the Happy Eddie comments were a reach as far as I'm concerned. Like, y'all find something wrong with the man smiling? Have y'all seen Eddie's teeth? Eddie smiles because he knows his teeth are nice and because he's a happy person, because he likes his wife. Unlike Juan. Anyway, Robin says that she was in her feelings about the way Candace was treating her. Let's not forget that Candace did not like the way they treated Wendy on that trip. And when Candace got there and found out, she let Robin know that she didn't like the way they handled Wendy. Robin got mad about that. So that's why Robin decided to break out the JBL speaker and try to embarrass her good friend, Candace, who she's so loyal to. Okay? Robin says, Candace gets mad whenever things are done on camera because you're mad about Giselle saying the things about Chris on camera, and then you're mad about me bringing up the JBL speaker and playing it in front of everybody on camera. But we should do everything on camera. Should we, Robin? Should we, Robin? Should we do everything on camera? Because we wasn't talking about your bankruptcy season 1 until Ashley brought that shit up. We still haven't talked about what's going on with Juan at Coppin. We didn't talk about anything that was going on with him cheating on you. All of the seasons that we've heard rumors about Juan doing what he wanted to do behind your back, we ain't heard nothing from you. Okay? Now, you done got cheated on, or I'm sorry, you didn't get cheated on. Juan just did something inappropriate that made you upset and rethink getting remarried to him. Girl, stop lying to us. Juan fucked around on you right before y'all were about to get married. And the reason why you divorced him and didn't want to get back with him on season 1 is because you could not trust him because he cheated on you so often during the marriage. And now, right before you marry him, it's another situation with some woman that you didn't know about. And you married him anyway, Robin? Robin, you're stupid. Let's see. Candace, why is Robin the only one you said that you look up to or that you have real loyalty to? And Wendy points out that she was like, this is the person that you so loyal to who will break out the JBL speaker to embarrass you even though you ain't say nothing bad about her raggedy ass. Okay. Robin says that there's no need to compare relationships. I, in fact, do think we need to compare relationships. I do think we need to compare. That's how we figure out the colorism situation. First of all, is by comparing how y'all treat each other. Also, why is it that Giselle and Robin have some, Batman and Robin type of fucking relationship where they hide shit for one another and don't ever call each other to the carpet for the things that they do on the show, especially not in front of anybody? They agreed to that years ago, to not ever confront each other in front of the other women. Robin, once again, things should be done in front of the camera. Oh, okay, girl. But every conversation you've ever had with Giselle to check her for some shit had to happen off camera. Girl, go to hell. Go to hell. We do need to compare the relationships though, because I want Candace to ask herself why Robin doesn't have the same protection for you that she has for Giselle. Why is that? Queen RN, thank you for the super chat. Sending some love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, R. Marie, thank you for the super chat. The civil rights movement itself was colorist, which is why some of the decisions that were made. Martin, Mary, and Coretta. Rosa Parks being the arrest behind the boycott. But y'all not ready for that conversation. Come on, R. Marie, because as soon as I saw her light-skinned daddy, I was like, oh, that's the only reason why he got into the Texas State of Representatives. Child, like, why y'all think Thurgood Marshall became the first, Supreme Court justice? Why y'all think that happened? All of those people were light. Because you needed to be closer to white in order to not be treated badly. In order to get those opportunities, you had to be closer to white. Brown paper bag. You can't come in here if you're this dark. And y'all really gonna sit up here and act like you don't understand how Wendy and Candace get treated worse than all of the other women on the cast? And all of the other women are light? We gonna act like we don't see that? And Robin, didn't you say that you wanted darker complected women on the cast after the first season? Isn't that what you said? Because you wanted to blacken the place up, right? I honestly feel like y'all wanted to have good adversaries, and Katie wasn't a good adversary for y'all because Katie was going to whip y'all ass on all fronts. Katie was going to be biracial, affluent, darker complected than y'all, model, so still, in fact, more beautiful, Giselle. So y'all had to make Katie out to seem like she was a slutty, crazy girl who didn't really like her blackness, right? But she was always getting with y'all. But y'all wanted them to bring on some other darker complected women. I think it's so that you can malign those women and that y'all could click up and make those darker complected women the ones y'all have issue with. And then pretend like you weren't really doing that from the very beginning. I miss Katie. They should bring Katie back. Especially if mentally she's capable. because she was hilarious and quick-witted and also smarter than them. They take a break. Robin and Giselle came back talking about the podcast, y'all. At some point, I'm going to tell y'all I stopped listening to some of this foolishness. So if I forget something, child, just comment and I'll go through the comments, okay? Or better yet, super chat, child, okay? Robin and Giselle started the podcast without even listening to anybody else's podcast. Robin says that, but they're still successful, when Wendy points out that that wasn't smart. I just kind of feel, I just kind of feel like on every front, they're always going to be allowed to get away with doing the bare minimum. I mean, the only reason their podcast is probably well received is because they're on Real Housewives of Potomac. And the only reason they're well received on Real Housewives of Potomac is because people like to fashion themselves behind the people that they look up to and that they like. And a lot of times that has to do with looks. I remember one time back when they used to be, doing all of them panels during the pandemic, and they were having a conversation about the colorism back then. And I can't remember which one of the Craze fans it was, but one of the Craze fans that used to be popping up on everybody's lives to argue for Giselle and Robin, arguing that, he didn't like her just because she was light skinned. And then I remember somebody basically asking him questions, and what it boiled down to was you liked her because she was pretty. It's a gay guy. I can't remember who he was, but he was a gay guy. And really the only reason he liked Giselle was because she was light-skinned with light eyes and she's pretty. Not because she's interesting, not because she's funny, not because she has anything going on really because she's the mean pretty girl. And there are a lot of people that like the mean pretty girl because people are gluttons for punishment for some reason. I have no idea what that's about. But people love to exalt pretty mean bitches. And I think that's what y'all do when it comes to the Green Eyed Bandits having a successful podcast. There are a lot of things that have to go into that being a successful podcast, but they've said terrible things about black people on that very podcast. Are we not going to bring up the James Harden comment they made? Like talking about his beard smelling like weed and blunts and I was just like, what? And then knew what they said was racist and still laughed about it like it was funny. I don't understand why we have to always lie and act like we don't see things. Colorism runs deep, period. Okay. Closeness to whiteness. That is basically all that this is about. Closeness to whiteness. Okay. They get on Karen about her copying everybody's ideas. And, Karen, did you get your idea for the live show from the Countess and Friends? And she said, well, no, Andy, actually, I got my idea from Carol Burnett. Well, I thought you said your idea was from Wendy Williams. It's like, well, yeah, when she was just sitting in a chair. But when she decided to add, the whole little, other people, the friends, it turned into Carol Burnett. Why y'all gonna act like that old ass lady, her reference was a lie? She could have had more than one reference. I have more than one reference. There are several comedians that I run through their Rolodex of quotes every damn day when I do videos. Y'all will hear me do Bernie Mac. Y'all will hear me do Martin. Y'all will hear me do a whole bunch of people whenever I'm doing, my videos and a quote from a movie comes into my mind. It's a whole bunch of fucking influences. Why y'all acting like Karen lying about Carol Burnett? She old enough for Carol Burnett to be the person she thought about first. Y'all just always want to act like, be messy with Karen and act like she always lying about something. To me, it starts to get aggravating when it's something simple. It's like, girl, that lady really could have just saw it. Carol Burnett and always wanted to do what Carol Burnett did. My mama is around. Actually, my mom is much older. And also, like a lot of older black people grew up loving Carol Burnett. I don't know what to tell y'all. Okay. If you didn't watch Nick at Night, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. But y'all made that Karen be lying. That's why Karen does lie. But why lie about something like that? That's small. It doesn't even fucking matter. Why point out somebody lying about something that could probably be true? And who the fuck cares anyway? It's just a moment to always make her out to look like she's lying about something. And I don't like that because Karen isn't always lying. She's not. She's not always lying. She wasn't lying about Robin and Wine. She ain't never lied and said no man pushed up on her when he didn't. Robin didn't even call her a liar when she said that Juan hugged her so hard that her titties went to her backbone, okay? She ain't lie about no shit that matter. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But my point is that other people on the show lie about shit that actually matters, and y'all don't give them the same energy y'all give Karen. Karen lie about stupid shit that don't matter. And y'all always want to act like, but she do always be lying. It's like, does she? Because to me, it seems far more worse to lie about a man harassing you, assaulting you, or trying to cheat on his wife with you. That seems like a larger lie to me. And we know she wasn't lying about none of them things. Child, I do love Carol Burnett because she used to have Vicky on there from the Mama's Family, girl. I grew up loving me some Mama's Family, but we not gonna get into it, girl. But yeah, anyway, Giselle had to have the surgery to get her hysterectomy, and she got emotional, and she says that, we can talk about it later. And Andy was like, no, we gonna talk about it right now. I was just like, okay, if we ain't tired of you thinking we gonna edit out your segments, okay, we is not editing out anything, bitch. We gonna talk about it. Okay, so she said she had to stay overnight, which wasn't expected. She probably, had some complications. Her kids, she said, my kids were like done. I was like, what does that mean? Your kids were done? I feel like she was over dramatizing this situation on some level. What do you mean your kids were done? What does that mean? Like, and why didn't we see any of this? That's another thing. We didn't see any of this. And why didn't we? Because you don't want to have to show emotion on a fucking reality show? Girl, get her off this show. Get her off this show. To me, the only reason you should really ever be like fired off a reality show is when you're trying this hard not to show what's going on in your real life, but you want to malign and throw out assault allegations and harassment allegations against other people. And it's also been crazy to me about the way Michael Darby has been grabbing asses on this fucking show since season 1, and you were still hugging him and feeling safe around him. It's crazy. Hey, I am Diva Nicole. Thank you for the super chat. Karen lies sometimes, but she doesn't do the malicious character assassinating crap, so they can leave her alone. And that's my point. That's my point. Child, half the time I think Karen be lying because she don't remember. Journey to Jasmine, thank you for the super chat. That's a part of how they use their light skin privilege. They literally do the most of the least and are successful for it. Very age of Pisces. Lord, can't get my words right. Very age of Pisces-ish. Okay, got you. So Andy points out that she never wants to share her business on the show, but then she'll bully everybody else about their shit and not sharing their business. And she was like, that's not true. And Mia was like, well, actually it is. Like, what about when you came up to me? Is this what cancer looks like? Like, you definitely do. I was just like, damn, Mia, checkpoint. Thank you for that one. This is one time that your peanut gallery noise actually contributed to the conversation in a meaningful way. Thank you. Giselle is seeing Jason from Winter House. He's met the kids. If she's seeing him next year, hopefully we'll see it on the show because we don't get to see her with anybody else. Like, anyway. We get into Wendy's health issues. I feel like on some level they downplayed Wendy's health issues. And I don't think I realized it until this moment where they talked about, she had to start drinking more water. It was like, yeah, but she had like gallstones and then she was losing her hair. Like when you really think about it, Wendy was going through a lot, like when it came to the health issues, but they edited her in so sparsely that it, you know what I'm saying? Like the way the roundabout scenes, I feel like they kind of edited her in very sparsely in a way that it made her issue seem smaller than it really was. Okay. But once again, at least Wendy was showing what was going on in her life. So we get into Wendy getting that drink thrown on her for nothing. And I love that they played the clip because Wendy hadn't said anything about G before the drink was thrown in her face. Andy says that she was trying to make what happened with Peter bigger. Wait, hold up. No, I think somebody asked that. Oh no, Mia said that. Mia said that Wendy was trying to No, I'm sorry, my notes got messed up. Andy was saying that Mia was making the situation with Peter bigger than it really was. And Wendy says, you assaulted me and you're still sitting here not taking accountability for it. Then Mia asks if she wants to talk about the receipts on Wendy giving Peter the cookie because she's seen video surveillance of them having dinner one night when the restaurant was closed. And apparently Peter showed Mia a video of him Girl, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that. And I love the fact that Candace says, you know, we really have to do something about how safe y'all feel just lying on national television for no other reason other than the fact that you don't like somebody. Because that's what she did. Like, you literally lied and said this woman fucked a man that she don't even really know like that or like that on camera. Like, that she cheated on her husband. Like, really. All of that. You just gonna throw that out there like that at the reunion, just thinking that people were gonna believe it and go along with it because they don't like Wendy. And I feel like that's another example of colorism, bitch. That's another example of colorism, Mia. The fact that you are counting on people believing you simply because you threw it out there and they don't like Wendy. Because let's not forget, if we go by Robin and Giselle's standard, simply not liking Wendy is enough to believe the worst about her. Right? So then that would be okay for you to then go and tell people that Mia told you some shit like that about Wendy simply because you don't like her. See the difference between what Karen be doing? Y'all know Karen still work on my nerves sometimes, but to see the difference in the actual lies, I feel like this is how we really need to start looking at these situations. Like, you're lying in a way that could really harm people. Chris lost opportunities in business because you made it seem as if that man was trying to do something to you in that hotel room. How fucking dare you? She should have lost her job for that, if you ask me. Dina Dean, thank you for the super chat. I'll never forget how proud Giselle's dad was that his great-great-grands were the favored slaves on the plantation. Oh, wow. And we see how they do with that favoritism shit. Oh, child, I don't understand how black people, don't understand you doing the same thing that the white people did to you, that you keep fighting so hard against. You're doing the same thing. What's wrong with you? Thank you, Peace to Mateo. I'm mad at you about having Darrell in this wig as your Abby. It's time to slay the monsters called green-eyed bandits. I know that's right. I'm over them. And Mia, your hanger-on ass, lying ass, too. Thank you for another super chat, Mateo. Peace to Mateo. Mia can also go too with her outrageous lies. Like the way she threw that lie out about Wendy having sex with Peter, I was just like, girl, you really need your ass whooped for that one. Like, I'ma just like, really? Just audaciousness. Just throw a lie out of nowhere on your ass. Robin was asked, how is it that Wendy was called the antagonist after she got the drink thrown in her face? And then Robin proceeds to try to clean it up. Robin says that she doesn't know how she would have reacted in that moment, but Wendy kept going. And they didn't show the point where she was saying, I know you don't want to fight her. And if you keep talking, she might come over here and hit you and you're going to have to fight her. And I know you don't want to fight her on camera. So wait till the camera stop rolling and then fight her. And this is Robin giving Wendy advice on how to do shit off camera. But we should do everything on camera. Right, Robin? Robin contradicted herself on the very fucking reunion taping. And I don't know if y'all caught it. Everything should be done on the reality show except this moment where you're telling Wendy that no, fight her off camera. How about you say, no, don't fight her. Don't worry about her. She's tripping. How about you, direct some of your energy towards Mia? That's another thing. That was the example of colorism right there. You had nothing to say to Mia. Did you ever put the camera on Mia when Mia was the one that got violent with Wendy? Or did you break out your phone simply to prove that Wendy was lying? Because that's what you were trying to do, right, Robin? Just like you did when you said Sharice didn't need to hold you back. And she did need to hold you back. You thought you was going to be smart and record the interaction so that you could try to prove Wendy wrong later on because you were still upset that when, the whole situation happened between the two of y'all at Ashley's dance class, and she kept telling you to stand on it, she wasn't actually telling you to stand up with your dumb ass. She was telling you to stand on your own shit and stop trying to pull other people into it because you don't want to have to deal with the consequences of the shit that you be on. Because I can't even remember what the argument was all about at this moment. But I do remember, okay? I do remember Sharice having to stand up in between the two of y'all because you were being aggressive, as you have been in the past, and you've never fully been called out for it, and you've never, and she said that, people said things, and Candace was like, yeah, today. But Robin, nobody has ever said that you made black women look bad the way y'all did to Monique. And Candace, I know you was like, and she did, Candace, I really want you to stop being as mad at Monique as you are. Because I feel like even in this moment, you're still more mad at Monique for dog walking your ass when you got in her face and asked for it than you are at Robin, Giselle, and Ashley for orchestrating a lie about your husband to get back at you for always pointing out how Michael Darby is an ass-grabbing creep. Because that's what this was about, if you ask me. I feel like the light-skinned girls sat down and had their conversation about what they were going to do this season. And Ashley is tired of the way Candace talks about Michael Darby. I'm sure there were conversations over and over again between Ashley and Michael about the shit that Candace says on the show. And so, because there was a moment during last reunion where Ashley had to get up here and explain that Michael Darby is actually a good father. Aha. How are the people in Somalia doing right now? Never mind. Conversations for other times. Okay. But yes, y'all got mad at Candace because of the shit that she was saying about Michael. Remember, Giselle and Robin, well, really Giselle, still was so cool with Michael, even with all of the ass grabbing that was going on. Okay. Everybody called it out, but then y'all would still be cool with Michael after. Remember? So yeah, I think Ashley was mad about that. And when Giselle told them what happened with Chris, Ashley was like, "Oh, I think we should try to create a little story around Chris this season." I think Ashley's the one that really tipped it over, but I think Giselle bringing that story about what happened in the hotel room, I think that's what initiated the whole thing. But I think it was a plot. I do. Thank you, Devin. Ain't this the same ish Phaedra did to Candy? It is. Basically, accusing somebody of wanting to do something to you. Yeah. Which was a lie. So, yeah. Shane, thank you for the super chat, love. Candy's still mad she got beat up. She is. And I want her to get over it a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, y'all ain't never got to be friends again. But in essence, if Monique made black women look bad, then all of these bitches on the stage make black women look bad. And Candace, that includes you. I know y'all want to feel like because, Monique initiated the fight and all of that means that she's the worst person ever in life. But essentially, I feel like you shouldn't stand in people's faces and put your hands on them if you don't want to fight. That's just me. But again, aggression is aggression. So why when Robin is getting up to walk across the room to Wendy, why is that not perceived as aggression? Why can you lie and keep playing semantics? Sharice didn't have to hold me back, but she did. And I love the fact, thank you, Andy. This is probably one of the best reunions that Andy has ever done. Because Andy was holding everybody's feet to the fire, and for the most part, okay? He can't do that much about a colorism conversation, y'all. So we're going to get to that in a moment. But Andy says, if you got up right now and started walking towards Wendy, I would probably get up to stop you. This is Andy saying that regardless to how you think, every time we talk about this, you're going to sit up here and lie and say that you wasn't being aggressive, but you in fact were. Because me as a white man would have felt that you were being aggressive towards Wendy if you had started walking towards her the way you did during that scene. Okay? What else, y'all? Robin says Karen should have diffused the situation. Shut up, Robin. Karen says, why am I in it? You throw gasoline on the fire. She said gaslight. She said the wrong word. But you throw gas on the fire and I'm supposed to calm the shit down? Robin, shut up. Oh, my God. Like, that was definitely one. Girl, shut up. You don't ever try to calm situations down. Every time somebody gets into an argument on this show and it doesn't have anything to do with Giselle and Robin, they're always on the sidelines antagonizing, instigating, and fucking laughing at whatever's going on. And let's not forget that I stand on the fact that I believe if it were not for Robin and Giselle, I don't think Candace and Monique would have fought. Down to the moments when Giselle pushed Monique's shoulder and Monique thought it was Candace and flipped out. Just saying. Coach G, thank you so much for the super chat. I noticed that they all actually advocate violence as long as it's done off camera. Robin, Giselle, and Wendy all sang different tunes than they did in season 5. They sure did. They sure did, because it's about the representation. That's what it's about. Don't show black women to be savages fighting on camera. But they can fight, you know, behind the scenes, which is such hypocritical bullshit. If you gonna fight, bitch, then you fighting. It don't matter whether you fought on camera or you fought in private. If your old ass is fighting and your old ass is too old to be fighting. Kevin, thank you for the super chat. I recognize that I'm not mentally stable enough to be on this show because I would have called Mia every time I saw her after Miami. I know that's right. I know that's right. So Robin's aggressive, doesn't want to take accountability for it with her big shoulders. Robin just wanted Wendy to tell her to stop, Robin wanted Wendy to stop telling her to stand. And it's like, well, she was telling you to stand on it, not stand up, but keep acting like she was telling you to stand up. She wasn't. Ashley went from writing statements for Monique to defending Wendy. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Everybody talking about how they was flip-flopping on the issue. They were. But Ashley had the best points as far as her flip-floppage. Ashley said, well, when Candace and Monique got into the fight, everybody jumped on Candace's side. Everybody had Candace's back. Everybody, maligned and reprimanded Monique for what happened. And this Ashley did exactly the same thing if you think about it. Whatever the person that was ostracized from the group, that's the person that Ashley decided to help. We know a lot of y'all people believe that Monique had some video footage of Michael Darby grabbing ass at the house. Monique got rid of said footage. So now Ashley writes a statement basically pointing out all the times in the past that Candace had been violent in order to prove that it was more of a mutual situation than Monique attacking Candace. That was the point of that, okay? But Ashley made a great point in that moment. She said nobody tried to help Wendy. Nobody took Wendy's side. Nobody, actually went to see about her. So that's why, because I felt like that was fucked up. And I was just like, Ashley, good point, Ashley. Because that's really what the issue was. And in all honesty, that was the reason why I wasn't so mad at Ashley when she decided to write the statement for Monique, because everybody had ganged up on Monique and said, fuck her. And I just kind of felt like it was hypocritical. Like, I'm sorry. I felt like it was all hypocritical. Everybody let Candace cry with her sticky notes all over the fucking place like she didn't walk up to that lady and touch her too. I guess, we ain't about to keep going, round and round with the situation. I'm not about to argue with y'all. I said what the fuck I said. Ashley went from writing statements, defending Monique, to defending Wendy. The difference is, yes, Monique was the one that actually facilitated the bullshit. Absolutely. But still, she was the person ostracized from the group. She was the person that didn't have anybody on her side. Wendy, ostracized from the group, didn't have anybody on her side. Ashley chose in that same manner, okay? But we know the first one was, yes, Ashley's statement was payback to Candace. I'll take that too. That's fine too. But, ultimately, I think what Mia did was worse than what Monique did. I'm sorry. I don't agree with Giselle, because Giselle feels as if her reaction being different was fine because it was different. First of all, she felt like Candace got beat up versus Wendy just getting a drink thrown in her face. I said, first of all, she got alcohol thrown in her eyes. Then she got hit with that lady's purse. Security had to stop Mia from attacking Wendy while Wendy was sitting down. That was worse to me than Candace and Monique getting into an argument, getting in each other's faces. The shit gets heated. One of you other messy bitches put y'all hands in a pot and a fight breaks out. To me, it was different. Okay. Also, nobody pressed charges in this situation. Nobody took it to the extra step. Okay. So there are a lot of differences in the situation, but if you ask me, I feel like what Mia did to Wendy was worse because Mia set out to malign Wendy from the whole situation with Peter. And then you threw a drink in her face before she even said or did anything to you. Y'all wasn't even sitting close to each other. Fuck, at least Monique and Candace was like in each other's faces talking shit. Like that, to me, that's when fights break out, when people get in each other's faces. Like, that's how fights happen. When you in each other's face, oh, you want me to whip your ass? You want me to whip your... Girl, that's how fights break out. I don't know where y'all from. But the way Wendy was sitting on one side of the table, Mia sitting on the other side of the table, and she said, no, I didn't have to tell him when I was coming in town. Squish. Girl, what? No. I think what Mia did was worse because Mia did all of that to have a moment. I think Monique and Candace had like a genuine... drunk bitch, we mad, so we gotta fight moment versus somebody that was just setting out to fuck with somebody who wasn't even on that energy with them in that moment. Candace and Monique were on the same energy in that moment. I don't care what y'all talking about. Okay. Yes. Ooh, you ain't lying. I feel like production, there was so many people that got involved to get them away from each other, obviously because it was more of a melee. But the way nobody, like, it was like one security guard that was stopping Mia, and Mia was still throwing her purse at Wendy. Yes, Mia's was unprovoked. Thank you. Yes, what Mia did was unprovoked. Versus Monique and Candace going back and forth for the longest time while drunk. Child, in each other's face, all that shit. Season 5 is what got most of y'all here anyway, because y'all wasn't watching this shit before. So I accepted Ashley's reason for why she flip-flopped on the issue. I don't accept Giselle's reaction or her reasoning behind flip-flopping, which simply boiled down to I don't care about Wendy. I don't like her, so I don't care if she gets assaulted. I hope you're never in charge of anything. I hope that Giselle is never in charge of anything where other people are concerned, because if she does not like you or if she doesn't feel like it, your harm simply will go, unjustified, like no justice whatsoever. No justice if Giselle is the Texas state representative like her daddy. No justice if Giselle is a police officer. No justice if Giselle and Robin are, on some, don't ever ask them to do jury duty. Don't ever ask them to do nothing where it is required that they care more about the facts of a situation than how they feel about the person. Don't ever have them in charge of anything like that, because they obviously can't make the correct decision. They are incapable. That's unfortunate. Wendy gets emotional and says how fucked up it was the way they treated her. She only went to Mia's room to make up with her, to move forward with the group, and it hurt her to her deepest core. Giselle says, but didn't y'all kiss after? They did, Giselle. But this is once again a moment where somebody is showing sincere hurt and you just could not care less. And I think if you're not going to show any sympathy or empathy in this moment, which is what you are being called out for doing, can you do us all a favor and shut the fuck up? Oh my God. Andy says they'll talk about that later. And Wendy says they've all shown each other their cooches. It was the tequila. And I'm just like, Wendy, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. Stop being friends and being like extra nice to people who don't fuck with you. Stop it. Don't do it. Hold up right quick, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video, please. Like the video, please. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we get into, Jacqueline gets there. And Jacqueline's there to put Mia on blast. Can't wait. But first, we got to get into the colorism conversation. So first of all, let's start off by talking about the fact that they didn't want a moderator. Andy asked the cast, would they want a moderator for this conversation? They said no. So Andy says, I'm just going to sit here and, listen and learn. Honestly, I felt that. I don't think there was anything wrong with Andy just simply sitting and listening and learning, because you are a producer on this show. And I really feel like the people that need the most education on these things are the executive producers, are the people who actually hold weight behind the scenes. Y'all need to be more mindful of these things, because you have a cast of Black women that have other issues like colorism. It would behoove you to be more educated on such things. Okay, so I didn't see anything wrong with Andy being a part of the conversation, specifically because the women are the ones that say they didn't want a moderator. Because if they had said they wanted a moderator, that probably would have given us a better conversation, because Andy couldn't really tap in on this. But it would have been so nice if somebody would have been like, why is Giselle not really saying anything? Isn't your father a civil rights activist? Have you never heard of colorism? Do you not understand how color, like what's going on? But Candace starts the conversation with getting them to agree with the definition of colorism is, which is for lighter complected people to be treated better than darker complected people in a societal and in interpersonal way. Okay, meaning in families, in the Black community, in households, in schools, in businesses, and then out into the government and into the world. Colorism is a real thing, absolutely. And by product of colorism, we got a whole bunch of other fucked up shit that takes place. Featureism, the hair textures, everything. If it's closer to Black, it's a problem. If it's closer to white, it's better. That's the overall idea behind it, okay? Then she points out all of the times, and I love Candace for this, all of the times Robin has been aggressive on the show and not been called out for it. Also about the way that Candace has been perceived as overly emotional when she argues or cries on camera. Giselle asks, what does Candace being emotional have to do with colorism? Candace says, am I not speaking English? I'm vilified for being emotional and responding to people mistreating me. When Robin is mistreating people, because it's not always a response, because Robin is very obnoxious. And in past times when she has gotten into it with people, the way she put her finger in Ashley's face, that was way too much. The way she walked up on Monique, very obnoxious. That's why she got that umbrella under her throat. The way she was about to try to walk across the room on Wendy. Honestly, I feel like Robin often gives obnoxious, unhinged, unhappy, probably somewhat depressed Caucasian lady that just doesn't want to go and get help and would rather, wreak havoc on humanity by, getting out her angst on other people. Thank you, Preston, for the super chat. Just had to give a super chat because you're preaching right now. Oh, thank you, love. I appreciate you. Okay, there's another one. Hold up. Thank you, Mrs. Wilson, for the super chat. Candace said it best. Giselle has no moral compass at all. At all. You're a bad person. Like, that's why I said that about Robin and Wine. Y'all are bad people. Okay? Candace got outvoted for a moderator. Oh, that's some foolishness. She got outvoted? Some foolishness. So she wanted a moderator. They needed a moderator. To me, it shouldn't have been a vote. If one of the people who is considered to crawfish, you can hear me, nigga. I can hear you. Sorry, y'all. I'm hungry. Zaz Monroe, thank you for the super chat. Wendy's so strong. I applaud her controlling herself, because I could never. Mia could have called a chair to the face. Oh, Lord. Thank you for the super chat, love. And I know exactly what you mean and how you feel when you say that. Okay. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Okay, no. All right. So, like I said, a moderator would have been better, because it would have been able to draw attention to the fact that Giselle was extremely quiet during this part, except for the fact when she wanted to ask Candace, how does her being emotional, what does that have to do with colorism? And this is what I can't stand. When somebody who just said that they're very smart, someone that went to a HBCU, Hampton University, somebody that is a AKA, somebody whose father is a a Texas state representative and was a part of the civil rights movement. You mean to tell me you don't understand when Candace says that she's vilified for being emotional, yet you are upheld for your lack of empathy and sympathy? Like, basically, y'all get mad at Candace for responding to the things that happen, but nobody gets mad at Robin and Giselle for being bad people in general. Like, I think that, like, y'all are making it seem like Candace is some terrible person because she will curse y'all out and tell you about your dwindling uterus. That makes her a bad person. But you can, child, which one? Giselle. You can lie on her husband and say he did something to you. And that's okay, right? Robin can get aggressive and walk up and run up on people on a cast and not be deemed aggressive. You and Robin cannot really have any storylines on this show and continue to stay on it season after season. I mean, the fact that Giselle sits next to Andy every season, to me, is definitely a testament to colorism. I mean, your seating chart is a testament to colorism. Giselle had nothing going on this season that we saw. Why is she sitting next to you? Why? Thank you to Camille for the super chat. Hey, Bondi, I don't ever want another season like 5. I like when they keep it light and entertaining. Real subbies are not here to argue about Monique and Candace. I'm here to enjoy Bondi's commentary. Well, thank you, love. I appreciate that. Child, I'm not here to argue about it. I said what I said. It's not an argument. Shay like the butter. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm glad Giselle's daughters are all brown skinned girls. If she had one daughter that's lighter complected, she would be put on a pedestal. Absolutely would have treated the children differently. Girl, I don't even think, like, I wonder how Giselle's kids really feel about her, because if this is the moral compass you have as a mother, like, you've probably been emotionally detached from your children in some way. Like, if you don't have sympathy and empathy as a person, I have to wonder, like, what your mothering skills are like when you're the primary parent and you have a lack of nurturing sensibilities. Thank you, Makai, for the super chat. I honestly think Ashley is more developed, nicer Giselle. Ashley can admit when wrong is wrong while being open about some things. Giselle can't face reality because she always wants to be superior. That is very true. But that has more to do with the fact that Ashley grew up poor. She can't make herself feel superior all the time just because of her skin, because it didn't afford her any benefits the same way it did Giselle. Giselle's life was probably, made increasingly better by coming from an affluent light-skinned family and being light-skinned with light eyes herself. I mean, she is beautiful outside of her light skin and her light eyes, but I don't think she brings anything else to the table. She can't dress, she can't design, she's not nurturing. All of the things that women are normally known for that you would attribute to being feminine and nurturing woman, she has none of those qualities with the exception of being beautiful. Karen says, well, the first step is acknowledging that Candace just said she doesn't feel treated the same. Like, the first way to admit that there's an issue is to stop ignoring when people say that there is an issue. If I tell you you hurting me, don't tell me no I'm not while you hurting me. Like, don't do that. That's the racism thing we keep talking about. The cognitive dissonance. Ashley says that she recognizes colorism and her privilege as a light complected black woman. I wish you would have said biracial, because it's not just about being light skinned. For you, Ashley, it more specifically is about you being biracial. Mia gets emotional and says, she has a beautiful brown skinned daughter and she wouldn't want to be known for treating her daughter or treating anyone in that way with her daughter being brown skinned. I'm like, well, Mia, you shouldn't be such a pick-me then. You shouldn't be so thirsty to be a part of friend groups where they're colorist. Because that's what you did. You came on the show. You noticed the clique that you felt like had the power was the light-skinned clique. So you decided to group in with that clique and you latch on to them and you back up their bullshit, i.e. Chris was looking at me with googly eyes. That's you. Your daughter should be ashamed of you because you went along with a lie to be a part of a friend group. What does that teach her for when she gets in high school? Oh, girl. Giselle was quiet the whole time, and I wish somebody would have asked her, How is it that you don't seem to understand this? And historically, you come from an affluent family, on top of the fact that you come from the very first black sorority that has a history of being colorist. Are you really going to act like you don't know what colorism is? There should have been more conversation towards Giselle. And towards Robin. Miss, I wanted to prove how black I was before I found out I was 51% Caucasian, European. The same woman who created, y'all, and this is what I wanted to talk about. So I told y'all I've been watching the first season, right? The first season is the first time we hear about our girl Giselle here wanting to do the now dismantled Every Hue Beauty. So you mean to tell me that you understood the disparages in the beauty industry with black women not all having enough skin tones for all of our skin tones, but you don't understand the colorism that is centered around said skin tones? Is that what I'm to believe is true? That doesn't make any sense. She literally, in the very first season, talks to the women about wanting to create a makeup line to meet the needs of all women of color. So you know that all of the shades of black women are not represented adequately, right? Every hue beauty. You recognize that every hue of black people are not treated equal or the same, because you had the idea to come up with a makeup line in order to fill that hole where women of different skin tones that are of color can't find their makeup matches because they only want to give makeup matches to a few of the skin tones. You could understand that. You could understand the mistreatment of the skin tones when it comes to the makeup, but you can't understand what the fuck Wendy and Candace are talking about as it pertains to the colorism on this show. So it's okay to patron to dark complected women, but apparently it's not okay to actually view them as a real person and care about their well-being, regardless to whether you fully like them or not. Wendy hasn't done anything to you for you to not care about her well-being. You knew all about the skin tones when you wanted to get the money. And that's why that shit failed. Not only because you're not a good businesswoman and you're not as smart as you pretend to be, but also because it wasn't coming from a genuine place. But she don't care. That's what CC Freak, you say she don't care. But that's why that business failed. Anyway, Jacqueline comes out. Mia says that she was overwhelmed with all of the support that Jacqueline needed this season. Andy asked if Mia felt as if she was ever treated unfairly in Jacqueline's family, as to explain why she completely dogged her out when she got on the show. And Jacqueline starts to talk about how, because Mia never had any family support like she had, she gave her her sister. Which honestly, I feel like, Jacqueline, I need for you to change your language, because your sister is not like a slave that you can just send over to your friend's house because you're being nice. Like, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. But I feel like the more affluent y'all think y'all are, the more y'all act like white female slave owners or something like that. Like, y'all are weird. But Jacqueline just basically explained, like, I let my sister go and be her nanny because she needed more help. And now this bitch is sitting up there telling me that I need too much help for her. When at the end of the day, I have less at my house right now. I have less help at my house because I'm sending my sister over to you. I don't know what to believe with Jacqueline and Mia just yet. Because I feel like Jacqueline just so desperately wants attention. And I also feel like Mia's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, but Mia will lie. Mia will say anything. I think essentially Mia didn't like the fact that Jacqueline was liked on the show. That's what I think. Okay. With that being said, y'all, that's all I got. That's all I got. We'll come back next week. We'll get into some more things. She meant a babysitter because her sister is not a nanny. Child babysitter, nanny. She watched them kids. Yeah, Giselle and Rob don't have blind spots. They just don't give a fuck. And that means they're bad people. Get them off this show. Get them off this show. I'm sorry. I'm done with it. I am done with it. Get Giselle and Robin off this fucking show. You want to know about all the examples of colorism? Watch this video again. But to me, examples of colorism straight off rip, you want me to hand them out to you? The way Giselle and Robin feel about Wendy, simply not caring about her life as a human being, about her being assaulted. They care not about that at all, simply because they don't like her. Can't give us a real reason for why they don't like her. And it's usually because you're mad that she has more than you, or she has something that you want and you feel like she shouldn't have it because of her skin tone in comparison to yours. Same thing with Ashley and Candace. As much as Ashley tries to be on the right side of these things because she's not as stupid as she, kind of shows herself to be when it's coming to Michael and stuff. But when it comes to the world, Ashley, I think on some level, doesn't want to be largely hated by people because of, shit in her childhood and all of that. But Ashley's reaction to Candace is colorism. Ashley, I know you don't want to admit it, but the fact that you feel the way you feel about Candace, no matter how many times you and Candace have these come to Jesus moments and you still turn around and treat her like shit after the fact, the way you did at the beginning of this season, y'all made up. You had that girl come to your house. She went to your house, Candace. You let that girl come to your house. Y'all drank, talked, and from that conversation, the shit just completely went downhill and it was all a plan. Ashley went to Candace's house pretending to be her friend, knowing the entire time she was planning to make it seem like that lady's husband was harassing and touching people unwarranted and shit. The shit that her husband does. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to what I've always said. Ashley is jealous of Candace because Candace's brown skin ass should not have had the beautiful, wonderful life that she's had. Somebody else already pointed out that you don't like the fact that Candace comes from generational wealth. She's supposed to get taken care of by some nigga instead, like you, right, Ashley? Slide up under some nasty old man so he can do his business and that way she can get taken care of. That what she was supposed to do? So that your children, your even more so Caucasian children can have generational wealth. Then it'll be okay for them to be taken care of by their parents, right? For their parents to actually benefit them in life by having money. It'll only be okay once you and your white husband's children come to of age, right? That's when it's okay. Not okay when Candace brown skin self comes from the beautiful brown skin doctor parents. Then her having generational wealth and having her mom help buy her a house is a problem. Okay, yeah, colorism. Because you feel like Candace shouldn't be able to have those things, especially in comparison to you. Robin, I think it's the same thing. Y'all feel like people shouldn't have certain things. Their lives shouldn't be better than yours because you live in a racist, colorist, patriarchal society and y'all look like white women in comparison to Wendy and Candace. Their lives shouldn't be better than yours. Mia, you are just an opportunistic ass hoe. And that's no disrespect to you. And when I say hoe, I mean you willing to do any and everything, including using your body in order to get whatever it is you want, child. She's when Ronnie goes class, okay? And I don't begrudge you that. I don't. But essentially, it makes you untrustworthy and it makes you someone who will go along with bullshit simply because it is in your best interest, which makes you no different than Robin. Also, colorism. Why is it Karen and Giselle sitting in the first two seats all the time? Whereas on Real Housewives of Atlanta, where y'all don't have all of these disparages in color, everybody is seated based on who had the most entertaining season. Giselle has nothing going on season after season, but yet she's always sitting next to him. Why? Colorism. Because white people can be colorists too. They're the ones who started it, in case y'all forgot. Thank you, Claudette, for the super chat. Gizzard is from NOLA. Is it very colorist there? Yes. Extremely. I've talked about it many a time about how there can be one family And if one side of the family is light and the other side of the family is dark, they act like they're not family. They act like they don't know each other, have the same facial features, do not get along. And it's because the dark ones feel like the light ones feel like they better than them and treat them worse. So they don't fuck with each other. There are a whole bunch of families in New Orleans like that. Just like there are a whole bunch of families that have the same last name, white and black. That's why I don't really like when y'all put I on the end of my name. My name is all over the screen. My name is all over this page, and people will still spell my name with an I. It works on my nerves. I don't like it. My last name is the original last name, and when somebody owned slaves and also had black children and white children, they'll have the same last name. The white people eventually changed the last name by letter or something to differentiate themselves from the black people with the exact same last name. Also, because at some point everybody became so, ashamed of their, slave owning past. And a lot of times the way to identify that somebody was owned by a family is them sharing the same last name. So white people would just be changing their last names to separate themselves from the slaves and the children of the slaves who continue to have the same last name as them. Makai, thank you for the super chat. Wendy being in the same sorority as Giselle eats Giselle up. Wendy had everything Giselle wants and more. She's simply intimidated. Giselle is a mess. She is. I feel like she is very much one of those women that will be intimidated by a woman that's more impressive than her, especially if that woman comes from a darker hue than you. Shout out to Jay-Z. Okay? Let me see. Did I miss anything else? But yeah, if y'all check the history of New Orleans has a huge, deep history with colorism. Passant blancs is what they call them, which is French for passing white. It's a huge, to this day, there are still so many women down here in New Orleans that think they are prized because they got a halfway decent body shape and light skin and light eyes. They think they're the preference, yes. Even with kinky ass hair, if they got lighter skin and lighter eyes, they think they the shit, girl. And the men down here a lot of times are the same. I told y'all, and I'm going to just say this and I'm going to go. When I grew up, as much as y'all see me as light skin on here because y'all don't live in New Orleans, so y'all don't understand, I'm not light skin around my way. Not really. I'm lighter, but I'm not light skin. Because there's always somebody in New Orleans in every single class, in every single school I have ever been in that is lighter than me. Not only are they lighter than me, but they have softer textures of hair than me. I told y'all I had a best friend growing up that was all Nina. Nina was always lighter than me, always had wavier, a looser texture of hair, came from two black parents, just like Robin did. But both parents were extremely light complected and their families were mixed up. Okay, so that's usually how it happens when, like in New Orleans specifically, a lot of passant blanc, light complected Creole people would get together so that they can continue to have light complected kids, but that they would not be white. Because essentially you want to be light because in New Orleans you could get treated very well for simply just being light, not for being white. Okay, you want to be black still because you want to be able to be a part of the culture that's prominent here. And the culture comes from you also being a part of the black community here in New Orleans. That's why, my grandmother was colorist. Okay, she was. She said, I ain't black, I'm Creole. Really, she, I believe, was biracial and just never really wanted to say she was biracial. She would rather say she was Creole. We didn't know my grandmother's her mother was, but we didn't know who her daddy was. We knew the last name that he came from and all of that type of shit. But, by the time I came along, it's all confusion. The Big Woman Life, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for this intelligent discussion about colorism. Oh, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Dina, thank you for another super chat. Come on with a history lesson. One day, teach them about the Tignon laws. I got a poem about it. Oh, girl, don't even talk about. There was so many ridiculous laws and rules and shit to keep the separation of these different subset groups of people. But yes, like there was no need to bleach skin out here. There ain't nobody gonna bleach. We gonna bleach for you. Go fuck on somebody that's white or light complected and your children to come out lighter. Spend less time in the sun, as your girl Stacey Dash would tell y'all. Okay, but yeah. Down here, you just kind of lighten up your bloodline. That's all. You just only date and procreate with lighter complected people. Darker complected people wouldn't want to have children together. My mama used to say all the time, as a darker complected woman, that even though she was more attracted to darker men, they didn't want her. It was always the lighter men that were more attracted to my mom. Mom was extremely beautiful. Any man was attracted to my mom, but the darker men didn't want to procreate with my mom because then their children would come out dark just like them. Beautiful, but dark nonetheless. So even though my mama was Miss New Orleans, Miss Clark, and all of that, the darker complected men did not want her because they did not want to have children that were dark like them. That's been the thing. Just lighten them up. Don't have children with darker complected people. Thank you, Claudette, for another one. 3 red hearts of different sizes. Thank you so much. My grandfather was dark and born in 1913 in New Orleans. So was my grandfather. And he was born in, 1921? Marie, thank you for another super chat. My family name example. One side is Cartier. The other side is Carter. Yeah, last name is Cartier and the other side is Carter. Yeah, my sister is the same way. The white people are the Catinos and my sister is a Cutno. Just add an I in there somewhere. That's what they would do. I'm gonna just add an I in there. Okay? So yeah, I would really love it if everybody would spell my name correctly and stop putting an I on the end of my name. I am not a white Bondy. I'm a black Bondy. It's a Y on the end of my name. Okay? But anyway, y'all, I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the conversation. Okay, it was like 1,400 people in the room. Please make sure y'all like the video on the way out. Playback people, I agree. I'm sorry. I'm reading and thinking at the same time. I appreciate y'all so much for coming through. Listen. I don't know what, because they don't think the same way. The light-skinned men don't want to be pushed more away from their blackness because they were told that they were less than for, you're soft and all of that for being not as black. They don't want to, completely lose it. So some of them would get with other light complected black people, or they would get with darker complected women so that they can stay black. Because like I said, especially in New Orleans and down here, you don't want to be white. You just don't want to be a dark complected black person. Which, again, how the fuck y'all gonna act like y'all don't know what colorism is? I'll see y'all later.